I'm not gonna... It's okay. He's okay. It's a good question.
Is Ariana Grande okay? It's a question that's been quietly lingering, buried beneath headlines, tour announcements, and Instagram photos. But lately, it's becoming harder to ignore. Fans aren't just noticing a change, they're worried. And it's not coming from just one corner of the internet. Across social media platforms, comments are building, not about her next album or her performance in Wicked, but about Ariana herself, about her health, her appearance, her silence. This is Dark Celebrity Truths, and today we're looking deeper into the life of one of pop's most beloved and most privately suffering stars. Is Ariana Grande silently unraveling behind the scenes, or are fans simply reading too much into a complicated life? Let's get into it. For over a decade, Ariana Grande has lived in the spotlight. Millions have followed her rise from Nickelodeon teen to Grammy-winning pop icon. But beneath the vocal acrobatics and chart-topping singles lies a story much darker than many fans realize. Ariana has always been refreshingly transparent about her mental health. In 2018, during a candid BBC Music special, she opened up about the battle she's fought with anxiety. She described moments where everything seemed fine, manageable, until a trigger would send her spiraling. She'd often have to step away from the public eye to recover, sometimes for days. She called it powerful and overwhelming, not because of what it looked like to others, but because of how quietly and completely it took over her mind. Ariana also revealed that she suffered from OCD, obsessive-compulsive disorder, especially in her younger years. In a 2024 podcast interview, she recalled odd rituals she followed just to feel safe. One of them involved singing Defying Gravity in the shower multiple times to convince herself she had cleaned thoroughly. It sounds quirky on the surface, but when you realize that she repeated this compulsively, it paints a different picture. She also admitted to overusing hand sanitizer to the point that her skin cracked and bled, a need for control that had crossed into self-harm territory. But perhaps her most vulnerable confession came in a single tweet. "Therapy has saved my life so many times." That wasn't promotional. It wasn't a sponsored post. It was raw. She went on to urge her fans to seek help, saying that trauma doesn't have to define you, and pain isn't meant to be permanent. And yet, as open as she's been, the speculation hasn't stopped. In fact, it's only grown louder. Online observers have increasingly focused on Ariana's physical appearance, especially since the start of the Wicked press tour. People pointed out dramatic changes in her body, notably weight loss, and expressed concern that she looked sick or fragile. Some suggested she was battling an eating disorder. Others feared it was something more serious. One user reposted a picture of her wearing an oversized sweatshirt, writing, "We need to talk about this. I've struggled with an eating disorder, and this looks like someone trying to hide extreme weight loss. We can't just pretend this is okay." Another said, "Ariana Grande doesn't look healthy anymore. This isn't the same person we saw just a few years ago." The commentary grew so loud that Ariana eventually responded. She released a video, not to promote a song, not to tease a project, but simply to defend her body. In that video, she made a surprising revelation. The version of her that fans often point to as her healthiest was actually the most dangerous. She explained that at that time, she was drinking heavily, taking medications, and neglecting her health. What fans saw as glowing was actually a mask over her lowest point. She urged everyone to stop judging people based on appearance alone, because what looks fine from the outside can be a reflection of real suffering on the inside. And that leads us back to the question, is she okay? Because despite her calm tone and thoughtful words, fans are still worried, and not just about her weight. Let's not forget, in 2018, Ariana endured one of the most traumatic experiences imaginable. Her ex-boyfriend, rapper Mac Miller, tragically passed away from an overdose. The two had been deeply connected. She referred to him as one of her favorite people on earth. His death hit her hard. That same year, she ended a high-profile engagement with comedian Pete Davidson. Public grief, heartbreak, and media obsession, all at once. Then there's Manchester. The 2017 bombing at her concert left 22 people dead. Ariana has said the trauma from that event still lives inside her. She was diagnosed with PTSD, and brain scans later confirmed how severe the damage was. She described the after effects as haunting, panic attacks, nightmares, guilt. And most recently, there was the controversy surrounding her relationship with Ethan Slater, her co-star from Wicked. News broke that they were dating, while Slater was still legally married. Fans turned on Ariana almost instantly. The backlash was brutal. Accusations of being a homewrecker, endless media speculation, and a wave of online hate that would shake anyone's mental state. If she's lost weight, could it be stress? Emotional burnout? A mix of trauma, work pressure, and public scrutiny? Maybe. Or maybe she's just doing the best she can, quietly. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Ariana's untold struggles, make sure to subscribe to Dark Celebrity Truths. We uncover what fame often hides and the stories celebrities don't always get to tell. Now, back to Ariana. One of the most striking things about her journey is how much of it she's had to endure under public judgment. Her pain is always up for discussion. Her trauma is dissected, speculated on, debated. That isn't just invasive, it's dangerous. Because it sends a message, not just to her, but to anyone watching, that you have to look a certain way to be considered okay. That if you're not smiling, performing, glowing, you must be broken. But real life doesn't work like that. Healing isn't linear, and Ariana has been through more in the past 10 years than most people will in a lifetime. She's performed through grief, released albums while suffering panic attacks, held charity concerts days after witnessing unimaginable horror. She's done interviews with tears barely held back while maintaining the perfect posture of a pop star. And yet, the internet still asks, is she okay? Maybe the more honest question should be, should we give her space to just be human? Whatever Ariana Grande is going through right now, whether it's peace, pain, or something in between, one thing is certain, she doesn't owe the world an explanation. She never has. But she's given us one anyway, time and time again. And that says more about her than any tabloid ever could. And yet, even after everything she's shared, the pressure hasn't let up. It's important to remember that Ariana didn't choose this level of fame overnight. She began performing as a child. Broadway at 15, Nickelodeon by 16. By the time she was 20, her voice was being compared to Mariah Carey. The world didn't just watch her grow up, it expected her to be perfect while doing it. There was no room for failure, no space to heal. Every misstep became a headline. Every relationship was dissected. And every change in her body was suddenly everyone's business. Can we blame her for retreating from the spotlight when things get overwhelming? Ariana has said before that she wishes she could release music and never have to be seen, that she could share her art without sacrificing herself in the process. But the price of fame doesn't work that way, not in the industry, especially not for women. Let's not forget how often the media has weaponized Ariana's image. She's been labeled everything from a diva to too skinny to manipulative, depending on which way the public wind blows. But when you look closer, most of that criticism isn't based in fact. It's based in discomfort. Discomfort with a woman who's both powerful and vulnerable, successful and struggling, beautiful, but not in a way that fits someone else's idea of healthy. Let's also talk about the music, because it's often where Ariana tells the truth most clearly. In tracks like Ghosting, she poured out her grief over Mac Miller's death while being in a relationship with someone else. That kind of emotional complexity is rare in pop music. And yet, most people never really listened to the lyrics. They just judged the headlines. Songs like Get Well Soon were direct messages to fans about mental health, recovery, and emotional survival. She even added a moment of silence at the end of the track, a tribute to Manchester's victims, hidden in plain sight. Music has always been Ariana's therapy. But imagine trying to heal while the world turns your healing into gossip. Now, in 2025, we're seeing a version of Ariana that's quieter, more reserved, focused on acting, staying selective with public appearances, and stepping back from the hyper-fast pace of the pop machine. She's filming Wicked, which has long been a dream role for her. And yet, even in this moment of success, the conversation still circles back to her body, her face, her personal life. What does that tell us? It tells us that fame doesn't care how much you've survived. It only cares what you look like while surviving. And that's the problem. Ariana Grande is not just a pop star, she's a person. A woman who's lived through the loss of someone she loved, a terrorist attack that left her traumatized, public breakups, body shaming, cyberbullying, career pressure, and the never-ending gaze of millions of strangers. And through all of that, she's still here, still making music, still creating art, still trying to hold herself together, even when the internet is trying to tear her apart. So should we be concerned about Ariana Grande? Maybe the better question is, what does it say about us that we even have to ask? Thanks again for watching Dark Celebrity Truths. If you found this video insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming celebrity deep dives. We dig beneath the glitz and glamour to uncover the untold, the parts of fame most people overlook. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, fame hides everything until it doesn't.